head to gamezone.cfl.ca and make your weekly picks for the game of the year. Winnipeg at BC, Friday, 10 p.m. Eastern. The line is 1.5. It is a pick'em game, and for good reason. As we mentioned, the Bombers, 7-1 home record. That one loss came in week 3 against BC when BC put it on them 30-6 at IG Field. Bombers, though, as they do, responded typical Bomber fashion in week 9, once again at IG Field, putting a 50 on them, winning 50-14. So we have this one to look forward to. But BC has said it. They put it on social. Now they got to come see us. They got to come to the Den with those crowds continuing to build. Thanks to everything that Omar Doman is doing. If you haven't heard our conversation with him, scroll down your podcast feed, as he was a real great guest a couple weeks ago. This is a coin flip game, Henoc. Remember, these teams have identical records. This is essentially a playoff game before the playoffs. What do you think the atmosphere is going to be like around that game, considering that the winner of it likely is going to be hosting the West Final?
It's going to be unbelievable. I mean, everything is on the line. You're playing for a bye week here because the winner of this game is likely going to finish number 1 in the West, and you are going to be able to just sit back and watch the other teams play in that first week of playoffs. And so this is a huge game. Both teams, they absolutely know what it means. I'm excited for this one. I'm excited to see the BC offense. We often talk about the Winnipeg Blue Bombers and how they have a lot of people that are dangerous from an offensive perspective. It's going to be exciting to see Vernon Adams actually utilize all of his receivers, because at some point or another, 1 or 2, and some of his receivers and all his weapons on offense were not able to participate. But this is for the second week in a row. Everyone is going to be on board, and it's going to be exciting to see exactly how Vernon Adams is going to respond in a game of this magnitude. Now, you got to remember, to me, it's going to come down to the team that makes the least mistakes, the team that turns the ball over the least. And so I'm looking at Vernon Adams, I'm looking at Kolaris as well, and I'm trying to see who's going to make the least amount of mistakes and who's going to throw the ball to the opposing defense the least. The team that does that, I think, to me, is going to be the winning team. But more than that, I do believe that establishing a run game is going to allow these two quarterbacks to also be able to be impactful in the way that we all know they can. So I'm excited to see this one.
You mentioned the word respond. With the win last week, Zach Claros now 8-0 with Winnipeg after a loss. I say that because Vernon Adams Jr., after the last loss to Winnipeg, said, "This is on me. This is my bad. I got to be better." Now he has an opportunity. If BC is able to win and Vernon plays well, can he leapfrog Zach Claros and not only the West All-Star conversation, but potentially the MOP conversation? Because low-key, we've all just assumed it's going to be Zach Claros and Chad Kelly, but Vernon has put some good games together as well. Do you think he should be getting some consideration?
I absolutely believe so, DB. I absolutely believe so. I mean, the West, it's absolutely a huge battle in the Western Division as far as the teams that are at the top. And if Vernon Adams is able to lead his team into a win on this week, we have to consider him for an MOP recipient this year. I mean, again, we talk about a team that wasn't necessarily certain about who was going to run their team and how Vernon Adams was going to replace your boy, Nathan Rourke. But he did a tremendous job from the beginning of the season all the way up until now. I love the fact that he was able to have bad games, fall down, miss a game, but come back and still kind of act like he didn't miss a beat. And so I'm interested to see how he will respond. And absolutely, to answer your question, if this game goes the way that he wants it to go and performs the way that we know he's capable of, and they beat the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, listen, I would not take his name out that list.